Get up.
I think that some parts of our community are engaging in more sort of risky behaviour.
A lot of the young people, they take too many drugs and they probably don't have safe sex because it's so much good fun.
I know people who just never use condoms.
A lot of younger guys kind of feel like it's not a big deal anymore. They're comfortable taking risks that people a generation ago just would never have taken. Young people just don't realize that there's even a problem to be worried about.
It's important to remind Australians that HIV is still out there, and it's ironic because here we are in a wealthy country with Medicare, subsidised medications, good communication strategies, no censorship on our internet. Why is this happening? PrEP is really exciting because it looks like it's a tool that may in fact help drive down HIV transmission. It's a great way to think about something as exciting as eliminating HIV infections in this country. So in Australia, we have 3 PrEP demonstration projects going. To be eligible, people had to be at risk of infection, and we have criteria around that. And that includes in the last 3 months having had condomless sex with casual partners who you don't know if they're positive or not, or having condomless sex with a positive partner whom you know, and also couples who might be seeking to conceive. So there is considerable risk. Every 3 months a person comes back and has to pick up the medications again, have tests to see if they've acquired HIV, touch wood no, or any other sexually transmitted infection. At the same time, we're really focusing on adherence. So they'll come in and see the doctor, and on that visit we take a special blood test where we will in the future test the blood to see actually what the concentration of the drug was in their blood. How well the drug Truvada works is overall in gay men about a 44% risk reduction, and in heterosexuals at risk around 70–75% risk reduction. When you look at the studies and focus on people who took the tablet probably every day as directed, in fact the protection is more like 90% reduced risk of infection. And that's a fantastic outcome because in a sense it empowers people. They can say, I'm opting in to protect myself from HIV. It's a positive health approach.
I'm not really a fan of taking prescription medicine or anything like that. I'd need to really see some very good studies to prove that it is 100% safe and 100% effective.
A lot of people would argue that that kind of thing would add to complacency and people not really taking precautions, but I think anything that could protect people is a great thing.
I access PrEP in the United States, and I don't understand why that drug is not available for use in Australia, because all the evidence points towards how effective this medication is.
The first time I heard about PrEP was when I was in the States, and I knew nothing about it. I'd never heard of it. So when I learnt there was potentially going to be a trial here in Melbourne, I almost became obsessed. I called infectious diseases at the Alfred, and I flagged with them month after month after month in the lead up to the trial beginning that I really wanted to be a part of that. My name's Daniel. I've been using PrEP for 7 months. There is a certain anxiety that is very much unique to the gay community, associated with their sexual health, that they have potentially infected themselves with a lifelong illness the morning after every time they have sex. It's very rare that a gay man doesn't think about something to do with HIV post-sex every time. Truvada and PrEP represents an opportunity for me to take responsibility for myself. I was someone who couldn't take a vitamin on a daily basis to save my life before I started PrEP. My protection is much more important to me than making sure that I'm dosed up on vitamin B.
If you have sex, have just one safe partner, or always use condoms.
I think PrEP is controversial in some ways because it
It challenges an existing norm, which was using condoms to prevent HIV, and a lot of people are very attached to that history of safe sex.
Hey Vicky, I've got a condom.
You know how to use it?
So PrEP has caused a lot of rethinking of what is HIV prevention. The fact that people are disclosing more that they're on PrEP, on hookup devices or on websites or in conversations with potential sex partners, has increased awareness of PrEP in general. So these people are in fact becoming sources of information within the community around PrEP.
When I'm speaking to people who have limited knowledge around the idea of PrEP, those conversations have been difficult. The general response is, I don't know what you're talking about and I don't like it. And it's resulted sometimes in people just upping and leaving. You know, I would liken these conversations that I have with the people that I'm sleeping with, these disclosure statements around the fact that I'm on PrEP, to being an HIV positive man trapped in an HIV negative's body. And, you know, obviously these are conversations that people who are living with HIV have all the time.
PrEP has been a really important way of some men taking control of their sexual health in a way they didn't feel that they could before. So in that way, it has been revolutionary. Our studies suggest that not all gay men would want it anyway, and also there's the issue of cost effectiveness. It would not be cost effective to provide it for all gay men.
In the first couple of weeks, quite a proportion of people might feel nauseated or have a tummy upset or headaches and tiredness, and very quickly they pass. We know that individuals taking this drug over a longer period, 1 to 2 years, a significant but small reduction in the health of the kidney function occurs. And importantly, we need to acknowledge that we don't yet know what the longer term toxicities are, and that needs to be studied.
The most surprising thing that I've experienced since starting PrEP has actually been the psychological journey that I've been on, more so than the physical side effects. You're undoing years and years of conditioning there. And that's not to say that I have sex without a condom all the time now, but the idea that I am protected without them is that's a big thing. And that has taken me 6 months to really kind of get my head around.
In America, there was some really ugly stigma that came out largely from within the gay community. And there was some shaming around men saying that you just want to use it as a party drug, you're going to be a Truvada whore. So this term Truvada whore came about, and people were suggesting that, you know, it was all about selfishness and not responsibility and not trying to use it to prevent HIV. Human beings are fantastically good at not wearing condoms, whether you're gay or straight. Just wear a condom, man. Why can't you just wear a condom? Well, I mean, imagine somebody saying, no, look, we only had seatbelts in the 1950s. I really want to argue strongly against airbags. I mean, it's foolish. The more choices people have, the likelier it is that a strategy is going to work, because people have choice. If we were in another country in this world, say Uganda, I couldn't just say, hey, I'm a gay man, I'd really like to access PrEP to stop getting infected. So if you can be in a city where you can say, I'd like to try and use PrEP, I'm going to opt in for my health, that's a really precious thing and it's to be treasured.
I know there's going to be a little bit of a revolution, the same way that when contraceptive pills were put on the market and women were expected to increase the amount of sex that they were all having suddenly because they weren't able to get pregnant anymore. Educate yourselves, find out what it is, talk to your doctors about it, find out the facts, make your decision, and if it's right for you, it'll change your life, absolutely.